out there, podcast land. Jeez, get the tongue out of my mouth while I'm talking. Well, I have a great show for you today. I have a great guest for you today. I have a great organization for you today. I have a great cause for you today. I have on with me, she's in the box right below. It's 2A Patriot Mama. You know her from TikTok. You know her from her podcast, the Dark Delight podcast. You know her from Instagram. You know her from Twitter, from Twitch, from Rumble. Also her link tree, which is off of her beacon, which is at 2A Patriot Mama. And then at the bottom of the beacon, you can click into her link trees. I advise you 1000% to get into her beacon, look at all of the information that's on there, all of the tools that are on there, and then get over into the link trees. And there are a couple link trees. You'll figure it out. There is so much information, so much data within there, so much research that was done. I advise you to go in there. If you know anything about 2A Patriot Mama, she does everything at child trafficking awareness. She does actual surges herself. I know that she's a part of Change Unchained, which, as you know, Renegade's Rant podcast. He does the ad reads for it. I do the ad reads for it. He's on TikTok as well. They do search and rescue. They have the Burn It Down Ranch, and 2A Patriot Mama is a part of that as well, along with another group as well. And we're going to talk about that. That's all in my notes, so we'll let her talk about that. But I am I can't tell you how excited I am to have her on and to get this information. As you know from my past podcast, I have been looking for a group. I have been talking about We Want the Names with Jessica and Amy, Change Unchained. I know that Renegade has another group, and I can't think of what it is offhand, but I know that he has another group that he's been talking about, and it's all to protect, rescue, search for missing children, child trafficking, sex trafficking. It's the fastest growing criminal enterprise, as we know from The Sound of Freedom, that documentary coming out, that movie coming out. And if I get onto Facebook, get onto TikTok, get onto Instagram, just search for The Sound of Freedom. That will take you to the trailer of this movie. Please go and check out that movie. I don't care what you have going on. Buy the tickets, go to that movie, because it is going to open your eyes to the enterprise, the criminal empire, the whatever you want to call it, the child trafficking that is going on in this country. It is all over the world, but it is the worst here within our borders, within the United States of America. And it infiltrates everything. Our schools, foster care, CPS, our churches, everything. It is in everything. It is a plague. It is a virus that is spreading throughout this country. It is pure evil. I advise you, I implore you, I beg you to grab the tickets to this movie, this documentary, and go watch it. We know that Mel Gibson is coming out. He's got a 4-part documentary coming out with what is going on in Ukraine. Check these things out and use that information as you will. And check out everything that 2A Patriot Mama does. I'm going to attach everything that we talk about, all of the links, all of that stuff will be on my link tree, which is in my bio. So go check that out. And if I can point you in the right direction, I'm new to this of trying to figure out information and all that stuff, but I'll know who to talk to. I'll know where to point you if you would like to be involved, as well as the topic that we're going to talk about, which is the main reason I have her on the show, to talk about a certain topic. And if you would like to join the cause, please listen to the show. And I will have the links in there, and we can do the journey together. But it is going to take all of us to stop child trafficking in this country. And not even the country, in our state, in our city, in our town, in our 15 minutes little city that we're in. It is a problem. It is an issue. The best story, and I'm gonna tell this story because I know that Troy has said this. So Troy Yusufer Tiffany is the founders of Change Unchained. He does his own search and rescues. He goes out, rescues kids, searches kids, finds kids, brings them back to the Burn It Down Ranch. The survivors are there to live in the tiny homes, to be reacclimated, to learn, to deal with counselors, to come to terms with what had happened to them and be better, get the education they need, and just be better humans after the fact. It's the after story that goes untalked about. Troy and Tiffany, they do an amazing job with these survivors of the trafficking when they come back to the Burn It Down Ranch. So you have a family. You have a family like Troy and Tiffany who do all this stuff. Their son was actually trafficked. And this is the problem I have. I will post stuff on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok about child trafficking. It can be anybody's family. It can be anybody's family. And I don't get much of a response when I post these kind of videos, especially on Facebook. They hardly get looked at on Facebook because people think it isn't going to happen to me. I watch over my kids. It isn't going to happen to me. You have a military veteran of several years, and I don't want to go through his ranks right now because I don't have that in front of me and I don't want to get it wrong. He's a badass. Now he's doing search and rescue. He's been doing it for 12 years. He knows what to look for. He knows the signs. He knows how to search. He knows how to do recon. He knows how to communicate. He knows how to use the law enforcement to help him out and do the things that need to be done to rescue these children. And somehow he missed his own son. His own son was being trafficked. So for those people who think it won't happen to me, it won't happen to my family, why should I care? It's not my family. It's not my neighbor's family. It's not my family, any part of my family. Why should I care? There's law enforcement for that. There's not. Remember the defund the police? I believe that is an aspect to why they were trying to defund the police. Was because if there isn't enough police officers to handle the day-to-day shit that our police officers have to deal with, how are they going to deal with child trafficking? How are they going to deal with the reports? How are they going to deal with missing children? Something has to give when these liberals go through and defund the police. I believe that's a huge aspect of the defund the police movement, was to allow these child traffickers to be able to roam free. It can happen to your family. It can happen to your son. It can happen to your daughter. And you could be the helicopter parent and it can still happen. One way or the other, somehow, it can still happen. If there is a podcast to listen to, please listen to this one. If there is a podcast to listen to, and it will be in the link that in the description of this show, it is episode number 67 of the Dark to Light podcast, where they have on, To a Patriot Mama has on Brad Dennis, the founder of the Shepherds. It is a great podcast. And I'm halfway through it right now, in all honesty. I'm halfway through. So far, fucking phenomenal. It is a podcast that you want to listen to. Listen to mine all the way through, like, follow, share, and then listen to episode number 67 of the Dark to Light podcast, and it will open your eyes. Follow the series on HBO Max called Undercover Underage. These are shows that you need to watch because this could be your child, this could be your family, this could be your nieces and nephews. It can happen at the snap of a fingers. I'm gonna bring on To a Patriot Mama, and we're gonna have our podcast. But what I want you to take from this, what I want you to take from this show is the passion that I know she has, but as well as how can you help? Because our law enforcement can't do it all. Our law enforcement needs our help. And I know she's going to cover a bunch of information on how that you and I can be involved with this as well. So, but I have that written down as part of my notes. So I'm going to bring her on now. If you have any questions about the show that you would like answered, email the show, extralambo@gmail.com, or shoot me a DM on all of my platforms. If you have a question, a concern, an idea, trafficking that you've seen yourself that know is going on now, shoot the message to me. And if it is something that involves trafficking right now that you've seen, that you know about, we'll contact law enforcement together. Because ultimately they're the ones that are going to have to take care of this. We'll do it together. If you can't do it yourself, we'll do it together. But please reach out to the show. If you have comments, if you have questions, you have concerns, email the show, extralambo@gmail.com, or just shoot me a message directly. And I will do whatever I can to get those questions answered, those concerns answered, taken care of. And definitely, if you have seen trafficking, if you know of any trafficking, get your face out of your phones, pay attention to what's going on around you, look for the keys, and help children. That they did not ask for this. They did not ask for this at all. So please keep your eyes open and share what you know, share what you see. So I'm going to bring on two-way Patriot Mama. Without further ado, I give to you the dark to light two-way Patriot Mama.